2, 1. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Fantasy Football. My name is Scott Morganroth, along with my co-host Ryan Skolrud. Ryan, great to have you back on.
Wonderful to be on the show.
Well, Ryan, this is championship week here in fantasy football, and I know we have a lot to talk about, but just so you know, even though this is the final fantasy version of the program, we will be keeping you active during the off-season a couple times a month, talking football in general. So looking forward to the continuation and the building of our brand. So with that said, Ryan, let's lead it off with some injuries.
Well, it's never fun going into championship week with injuries on your team. I know that is one of my teams is facing that this week. And we'll start it off with the big wide receivers. Obviously, we knew about Mike Evans, about him most likely missing the rest of the season with his hamstring injury. He has officially been put on the IR by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're hoping that Chris Godwin could possibly be ready for Week 17. He has not practiced all week this week, and it is looking more and more like he is going to be out. They actually, I want to say that Bruce Arians actually said that it is much like Mike Evans' injury. So with that, that's a top 5 wide receiver that's going to be gone for fantasy championship week, which can cause a lot of issues. As far as it goes for the Buccaneers, in terms of the wide receiver position, I really think that Brashad Perriman becomes the number one guy right now there. I want to say they've got another guy, Justin Walker, something like that. He's really going to be the afterthought, in my opinion, compared to Brashad Perriman, who's going to step up to be the guy. Which is nice to see, him be able to do that after, being drafted, I believe, by the Ravens and just nothing happening, always being injured and, kind of bouncing around a little bit and ending up here where it looks like at least, in Week 16, he could possibly be a savior for a lot of fantasy teams. And so we'll kind of see how that goes. As far as the quarterback situation with Tampa Bay, Jameis Winston has still been practicing with the broken bone in his hand. It looks like, as far as we can tell, he is going to be fine and keep playing. And so the Tampa Bay Buccaneers believe in Winston and what he can do, and hopefully he is able to really put out well for fantasy owners that have him in championship week. I do have him. Actually, on one team, I had both him and Chris Godwin. And so, not only that, I also have the next guy that I'm talking about, Dalvin Cook. So all three of them, all on the same team, that are in the championship. So it could be very interesting for me in terms of what happens this weekend. Dalvin Cook is dealing with a shoulder injury, but he is said that he is going to play. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I know that their regular backup Alexander Madison, I believe, is still out. Most likely will not be playing this week. But Dalvin Cook is in, and as far as we see so far, he is playing. They're not going to hold him out, which, it's going to kind of be roulette playing Dalvin Cook, unless you can possibly get, one of the backups, whether it's CJ Ham or whatever, to be the backup there to play the Monday night game, because I believe that Minnesota is Monday night this week. So because of that, you're having to wait. So if you have other options that you think you might feel more secure with the matchup, I would maybe go that route. If you don't have any other options and you're kind of stuck, hopefully you can get one of the backups for Minnesota who could possibly provide some good work for you this weekend. Staying with the Minnesota Vikings, Adam Thielen reportedly is going to be playing this week. Said that he is ready to be back. As far as fantasy goes, I do not trust him to be playing. I trust him to play. I don't necessarily trust him to play well. I still think that right now Diggs is the guy to own in terms of wide receivers for that offense. It's hard for me to really. I believe that Thielen played this last week. He's still up for this week. I think that hamstrings where he missed multiple weeks. It's very difficult to gauge how well someone's going to come back from that. So I am hesitant to play Thielen. If I had him on any of my teams and was doing okay with my wide receiver picks going into championship week, I would still be honestly looking at one of those other options. So one other name that I have on here that I wanted to bring up was Josh Jacobs. It looks like he's been ruled out. He has ruled himself out for this weekend for the game for the Oakland Raiders. So it looks like it's going to be, I believe it's Dwayne Washington will be the backup. I've already picked him up in one of my championship leagues, one of my championship teams, to possibly be kind of a roster fill-in, kind of see how things go on Thursday on Friday and Saturday and Sunday for this weekend's matchup. So those are the main injuries. The other ones to look at, Evan Ingram was officially put on IR, so it looks like Caden Smith is going to be the guy in New York. T.Y. Hilton has also looks like he played a little bit this last week, but it looks like he's going to get his reps increased going into Week 16. So.
And you got Alvin Kamara. What's going on what's the story with them?
Okay, so here's what to do with Alvin Kamara. I have him in two different leagues. Both of them missed the playoffs, by the way. And I believe in both those leagues I had the choice between Alvin Kamara or Christian McCaffrey, and in both leagues I went Alvin Kamara. So that shows you how those leagues went. I think that with Alvin Kamara, I would be hesitant to start him this week. I know a lot of people have just been running him out there every week. I think I actually sat him last week for Phillip Lindsay and I believe Devin Singletary. And so he's going to be hard to trust. I just don't know if he is only, I think the last time he's been in the end zone was week 3 against the Seahawks. So that should tell you kind of what he's been doing for this season. So I don't know if I can trust him for the playoffs. If you have him and you have other options, I would look at other options.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, Mark Ingram used to be with the Saints. Do you think the Saints regret seeing him get away to Baltimore?
I think it was possibly just the fact that he turned 30 this year. Mid-season he's going to turn 30 by the end of the season. I think that he is a guy that I think that because of how much it was going to cost to keep him and with his age, they may have figured that it was better to let him go and stick with someone like Alvin Kamara and then Latavius Murray. I think that, maybe for this season they may be regretting it, but long term I don't think so. Because again, look at what the Saints are doing. Even with Kamara struggling, they're still possibly going to get that number 1 seed in the NFC.
But yeah, to Ingram's credit, he had a good year. He's makes it to the Pro Bowl with the Ravens and was certainly fit in with that offense centered around Lamar Jackson. So. Yeah,
I think that he's done really well in that offense, and I think has played really well with the mobility of Lamar Jackson. So.
Yeah, been a big piece and a big part of the Ravens' success. All right, well, let's go ahead and pick some football games, shall we? We'll lead it off on Saturday. We'll talk about the Houston Texans at Tampa to take on the Buccaneers. What do you got?
All right. In this game with Houston Tampa Bay, I really think that Houston wins this one. Tampa Bay's defense has played pretty well, but their pass defense has just struggled all season, and that's really what the Houston Texans attack best is with their high flying offense. So I think that Houston will win this game. Is my honest prediction. I think that they're the team to go with for this week. In terms of fantasy, I think that Deshaun Watson and Hopkins are obviously must-starts. They're going to put up decent numbers this week against that defensive secondary. And really that and Will Fuller, I think, could also put up a decent game. In terms of Tampa Bay, again, the Houston secondary has also struggled, so Winston could be in for a big game. Again, he's going to be throwing to, Brashad Perriman and Justin Watson. We're still not for sure that Chris Godwin is going to play or not. It's assumed that he's probably going to be sitting. And so it's possible that means that O.J. Howard and Cameron Brate could get a little more work. Overall, I think that Houston wins it, and that Houston will probably win, let's say, I say 35-28. I think it's a high-scoring game.
Do you really? Yeah, I think I normally would pick Tampa Bay in this game, but when you're minus Godwin and Evans, to me, it shifts me towards Houston to win it. But I don't think it's as high scoring at all. I'd say 24-17 for the Texans.
Alrighty.
All right, let's go up to New England, where the Buffalo Bills travel to take on the Patriots. Who you got?
Well, this is actually interesting. I think that the Patriots can win. I just don't know that they will. I actually talked with one of my buddies about a half hour, 45 minutes ago, and he asked my thoughts on that game. He is a diehard Patriots fan, and he has actually said that he thinks that the Bills win this one. So I think, this is going to be a hard-fought battle. This is going to be very much a defensive battle. Josh Allen, I sat last week for Ryan Tannehill, and I'm glad that I did. I would possibly sit him again this week just because of how good that New England defense is. And so I think that I think the Bills could still pull it out, but it's going to be like a 10-7, 14-10 type of game, 13-10 type of game. And so I may actually pick the Bills in this one and go 13-10 Bills. As far as fantasy, the only thing from the Patriots that I want is their defense and possibly James White. And as far as from the Browns, the only real people I want from there is maybe Josh Allen, and that's if you're really, really desperate for it. So just because the Bills may win the game, but I don't know where that offense is going to come from. So
yeah, I'm going to go with the Patriots 17-16. I agree, a low scoring game. But if Buffalo wins, it wouldn't break my heart because obviously you're starting to see the emergence of an up-and-coming team, one that can be awfully good for a long period of time. I'm really happy to see the Buffalo Bills playing much, much better. In fact, that's the credit to Kim and Terry Pagula, the new owners, where the Sabres and the Bills are both winning simultaneously. But once again, my pick is the Patriots 17, the Bills 16. In the final Saturday night game, really basically has the Bay Area versus the L.A. area. Of course, now the team in the Bay Area is the only one in town as the L.A. Rams visit San Francisco 49ers out in Santa Clara.
Yeah, it looks like there's a possibility for a little bit of rain during this game, so it should be interesting to see how that one plays out. I mean, as a Seahawks fan, I'm hoping and praying for the Rams to beat the 49ers. It just makes it that much easier for the Seahawks to possibly get the number one seed. But I do think honestly that the 49ers defense at home is probably going to be too much for the Rams, especially considering how just badly they got walloped by the Dallas Cowboys. I don't think Jared Goff is a great option. Todd Gurley, I think, is more in that running back 2 area. I think he's going to be more of a flex play than a solid running back contributor. I think Robert Woods is kind of emerging as the top go-to target for Goff, so I think he is more likely to be the top wide receiver than Cooper Kupp. And Tyler Higbee has had back-to-back games of over 10 catches and 100 yards. So he's definitely a guy that could be an interesting pickup for this weekend. As far as San Francisco goes, Garoppolo should be in for a decent game. I really like Raheem Mostert has taken over that backfield, has played very well the last couple weeks, so he's definitely worth a possible start. Emmanuel Sanders has been very boom or bust, and Deebo Samuel has been somewhat consistent. So I think that George Kittle is obviously a must start, being a top 5 tight end this year. So